Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the top 15 best cars that you can buy for less than $1,000 in the Big 2.6. Obviously, in 2026, any car under $1,000 is going to be just a literal ticking time bomb. That's more so just useful for a summer or two while you're really struggling. These are not cars that I actually actively recommend people to go out and buy. Every one of these cars are going to have a ton of rust. They're going to be over 200,000 miles. These are just the ones that you can buy under 1K that I think aren't the absolute worst decision, okay? The 1K budget is really tough to work with in 2026, unfortunately. But this is the start of a new series. Not really. It's more so a returning series. We did it a couple years ago where we do a top 15 list of every budget. So starting obviously today with 1K, then the next one will be 2K, 3K, 4K, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, and then 100,000 to end it all off. And the whole gimmick behind it is that in every single one of these videos for this entire series, there won't be a single duplicate car. So in every one of these videos, they're going to be 100%, all 15 cars will be different from each other. Sometimes there might be like the same chassis. For example, like we might do Chevy Camaro RS, and then another video will be the Chevy Camaro SS, if that makes any sense, okay? Alright, and I'm excited to start the series. The series used to do really well on the channel, and you guys seem to like it. And if you watch every single one of them, if you do the quick maths there, that's a lot of cars. I'm not going to do the quick maths because I'm not smart enough to do the quick maths right now. But if you do the quick maths, that's a lot of cars right there that you could get. I think it's like 195. No, 210 cars, I'm pretty sure. If you watch every single one of these videos, there's 210 cars for under 100K. But either way, media of the day is Elden Ring. Elden Ring is one of my second favorite, tied for first place favorite story games of all time, tied for Red Dead Redemption 2. This game is absolutely incredible. It's very rare that I play through a story game 2 different times, and I did play through Elden Ring 2 different times. It's a great game. But without further ado, let's get right into it with the top 15 best cars that you could buy under 1K. And coming in at 15th place, when I made this list, literally all I did was go on Facebook Marketplace, type in car, and then put the price to the top of the most expensive it could be, being $1,000. It's a fun list to make. The Dodge Caliber is coming in at 15th place with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 148 horsepower, and they are, of course, front-wheel drive. I've seen interesting opinions, mixed opinions when it comes to the Dodge Caliber. There are people out there that say the Dodge Caliber is a hideously ugly car and you should never drive it. And if you do drive it, your mother deserves to be slapped in the face. And then there are other people out there, like myself, who actually don't really mind it once it's modified, at least. Bone stock, sure, it's a little bit boring, but once you modify it a little bit, it looks good. Now, that's not me recommending modifying a car that you're buying under $1,000. I'm just saying that it can look pretty nice. This one's all the way down here at number 15 though, because it is a Dodge, and a Dodge with like over 200,000 miles. It's scary. Coming in at 14th place, want to hear a fun fact, really weird fact actually. This car is the first ever car that I drove on the street, the Hyundai Sonata GLS. Now, I can't tell you exactly what generation of Sonata this is. You see it on screen right now, though. It's this one. But my buddy Patrick, shout out Patrick, had one of these as his first car. And I remember I was 15 and allegedly didn't have my license, and allegedly he was stoned off his gourd. And so I allegedly drove for him to a place, and it was the first car I ever drove on the street. Car comes with a 2.4 liter inline 4, making 162 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. It's got a lot of space. It's pretty nice. It's pretty modern. It's a Hyundai, and it's a 2000s Hyundai, so it's got some reliability issues there, 100%, which is why it's all the way down here at 14th place. But I actually kind of do, honestly, not even trolling, kind of think that they're a little underrated. It just in a little bit. Now, again, the reliability is a little bit scary, so I do understand why they're not super loved, but I don't think they're as bad as people give them credit for. Coming in at 13th place, however, is going to be going to the Volvo S60, specifically the first generation of the Volvo S60. We talked about the Volvo S60R a lot on this channel because I love the S60R. It's a great car. But even the base model S60s are pretty freaking cool, especially for under $1,000. This car comes with a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 5, making 208 horsepower, and it is front wheel drive. If I'm not mistaken, I believe... Oh no, there is one more car that has more horsepower than two more cars that have more horsepower than that. This is the third highest horsepower car on this list. Now, why is it all the way down here at 13th place? So Volvos are very reliable, they're very safe, they're nice cars. It's got a good motor, it's got decent power. Why is it all the way down here? Because the Volvo S60 under 1K is just going to be so freaking scary. That is going to be a scary car to buy, 100%. And dealing with turbo motors when you're a new driver, which is probably what you are if you're looking to buy a car under $1,000, is also just a little bit scarier than it needs to be. Coming in at 12th place, again, it's another one of those ones where it's like, yeah, it's one of the cooler ones on today's list for sure, but it's also a little bit, definitely one of the scarier ones. 12th place is the Audi A4 B6. Now, there's no hiding the fact, there's no denying the fact that Audis are kind of known for the fact that they're very, very annoying to have to work on and do any sort of maintenance to. The parts are not cheap, and doing it yourself is a nightmare. The car comes with a 1.8-liter turbocharged inline-4, making 170 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. If you really think about it, this car is pretty much just a sedan, rebadged version of the Mark IV GTIs, or, in other words, a slightly heavier Volkswagen Jetta GLI Mark IV, which, I mean, hey, that's pretty cool. Now, what's the downside to that? Well, you're buying a GTI for less than 1K, and it's probably going to have over 200,000 miles and rotted out and pretty scary. On top of that, the Audi is, like I said, just a heavier version of those cars that you kind of want them to be all-wheel drive. Coming in at 11th place, barely missing out in the top 10 here, is going to be going to the Ford Fiesta SE. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't buy no ST Fiesta, obviously, under $1,000, but you can buy a Fiesta SE, and this is another one. Actually, the Audi A4 is another one of the cars that I have driven before. I've driven a lot of cars on today's list. This is another car I've driven before. When I was working at a parts store, I used to deliver parts on one of these. Pretty nimble little cars, actually kind of fun. They come with a 1.6-liter inline-4, making 120 horsepower, and it is front-wheel drive. Obviously, the horsepower numbers are super low, but the car is also very lightweight. This is a car where it's a you drive a slow car fast type of thing, and it'll probably actually be a pretty fun time. They don't look the best, and at the end of the day, they're going to be a 200,000-plus mile Ford. But it's also one of the more modern cars on today's list. It's lighter weight. It's better on gas than a lot of the other cars on today's list. It's pretty decent. It's just a little bit of a boring one. However, breaking its way into the top 10 here, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I mean by, like, there will probably be instances where we talk about cars that are just better versions of that car later on in the series, because this is a Chevy Cobalt, the base model Chevy Cobalt, and you will be hard-pressed if to find me not mentioning the Cobalt SS in a later one of these videos, because they're completely different and much more worth it. The regular base model Cobalt comes with a 2.2-liter inline-4, making 145 horsepower, and they are front-wheel drive. Again, I don't think there's a single... Is there a single rear-wheel drive car on today's list? No. No, there is not, because you're just not finding anything rear-wheel drive under $1,000, unfortunately. Nonetheless, the Cobalt is fine. It looks pretty decent. It's one of the better-looking cars, actually, as a matter of fact, on today's list. Can't really make that much power. It's not the most reliable car out there, and it's not obviously going to be that fun out of the factory, but it looks okay. And coming in at 9th place is, like, kind of the complete opposite, actually, of the Cobalt, where the Cobalt was just like one of the cooler ones on today's list, but it might not be one of the more practical ones. This one is extremely practical and a very smart decision compared to the rest, but it's obviously not cool at all. The Toyota Prius 2nd generation. Now, you can find first-gen Priuses under 1K as well, but those are just too ugly. Like, those ones, I can't get behind those. Second gens, they're at least okay looking. They come with a 1.5-liter hybrid inline-4, obviously, making 110 horsepower, and they are front-wheel drive. I mean, yes, I'm a car guy. Yes, I'm recommending you to buy a Prius under $1,000, because realistically speaking, as much as we hate the cars, they are smart decisions for a like daily driver, for a new time driver. They're just so reliable. They're so good on gas, but obviously they're not fun and they don't look cool at all. 8th place is Super Baller. As a matter of fact, it's just like a genuinely cool car. One of the only cars on today's list that I actually just like in general. But it's just so hard to find them under 1K, and even if you can, they're just going to have so many problems. The Nissan Maxima 5th generation. The Maximas, the older Maximas used to be pretty sick cars, man. They were actually kind of sleepers, honestly. They come with a 3-liter V6, making 222 horsepower, and they are front-wheel drive. This is one of the highest horsepower numbers on today's list, and realistically speaking, it is the best in terms of performance, because the other car on today's list that has a higher horsepower number than this is an SUV, so it's very heavy. And this one is just not. That motor is the same motor they were putting in the 300ZXs, by the way. But because of that, keep in mind it is going to be a pain in the ass to work on it, because those motors are kind of known for the fact that they're just massive. But it is, again, it's a really cool car. It's just unfortunate because it's one of the harder ones to find under 1K. And even if you can, it's going to be a ticking time bomb and a nightmare to work on. But yeah, coming in at 7th place, here it is, the car I was just talking about 2 seconds ago, the Chevy Trailblazer. The Chevy Trailblazer is the highest horsepower number car on today's list, but obviously keep in mind it's also the heaviest car on today's list as well. But dude, these things are I've always been a pretty big fan of the Trailblazer's designs. I think they look really, really nice. And the fact that you can find them under 1K is crazy. They come with a 4.2-liter inline-6, making 270 horsepower, and they are all-wheel drive. Up until this point, every vehicle we've talked about has been front-wheel drive. These are all-wheel drive SUVs making 270 horsepower with the inline-6. Now, obviously, for under 1K, they're going to be rotting out. They're going to have 250,000 miles, just like every other car on today's list. But, I mean, you got yourself an SUV here, man. I mean, that's pretty nice. Now, it is a Chevy SUV in the 2000s. It's kind of scary there, but that's it. And coming in at 6th place, 6th hate that freaking word. Place. My least favorite word in the English language is sixth. I just hate it. Sixth place is a Toyota Camry 7th generation. Yeah, I mean, it's a freaking Camry. Any Camry under $1,000, any Camry just in general is always a good idea. I mean, they're Camrys. There's no downside to a Camry. The 7th gen Camrys come with a 2.4 liter inline-4, making 158 horsepower, and they are front-wheel drive. They actually do have V6 Camrys that are supposed to like battle the V6 Accords, and they actually can get kind of cool, but unfortunately, I don't think it's even remotely possible to find a V6 Camry under $1,000. So you're going to have to go with the inline-4s, but nonetheless, that's okay because they are more reliable anyways, and that's obviously what you're buying a Camry for in the first place. You're not buying it to go fast, you're not buying it to have a cool car, you're buying it because it's reliable as hell, and that's what a Camry does. It's what it's known for, and that's exactly what it's going to do. For under 1K, this is one of the smarter options. But coming in at 5th place, y'all fellas know how much I love this car. If you watch the Mark Roden channel, you know how much Mark Roden is a pretty large fan of the Subaru Forester SF. Both the SF and SG Foresters I think are very cool. They're pretty much the exact same vehicle, if I'm being honest. The SG just being a more updated version with better interior and better looks on it. But the SF you can find under 1K. It is very impossible to find the SG though. Once you do find an SF under 1K, they come with a 2.5 liter flat 4, making 165 horsepower, and they are all-wheel drive. Another one of the all-wheel drive vehicles on today's list. There's only 3 total that aren't front-wheel drive on today's list, and this is one of them. And on top of that, it looks nice. I've always been a big fan of the SF Foresters. I understand people that aren't, though. There are definitely people out there that think they look like grandma cars, and I understand where they're coming from, but they're pretty damn reliable. I mean, a 250,000 mile one is going to have, you know, a lot of rust and probably head gasket issues within the first year of buying it, but they look nice, they're cool, they can go off-road, they're all-wheel drive, they're great for the winter. Like, they're just really decent options. And coming in at 4th place, it's the Honda Accord 5th generation. In terms of looks alone, just looks, I probably would give this car the best looks on the entire list. I'm not lying. Maybe the SF Forester. I'm a big fan of the SF Foresters as well, or the car after this, but this one's one of the better looking cars on today's list for sure. They come with a 2.3 liter inline-4, making 135 horsepower, and they are front wheel drive. They're a Honda at the end of the day. They're a 90s Honda. They're going to be easy as hell to work on. Parts are going to be dirt cheap, and it's going to be reliable as hell as well, obviously. There's really no downside to a 5th gen Accord besides the fact that they like to rust a lot more than just your regular car does for some reason. Every time I see a 5th gen Accord, whether it's for sale or in person, they always have rust. It's kind of crazy, but I think that might just be because the owners never washed them, to be honest. But coming in at 3rd place, yeah, like I said, it's either the 5th gen Accord is the best looking car on today's list, this car, the Volkswagen Jetta TDI Mark IV, or the Audi A4 B6. Those are the 3, or the Maxima 5th gen. The 5th gen Maximas are pretty good looking too. Those are the 4 runner-ups for the best looking car on today's list for sure. Either way, 3rd place, the Volkswagen Jetta TDI Mark IV comes with a 1.9 liter turbo diesel inline-4, making 90 horsepower, and they are front-wheel drive. 90 horsepower obviously is laughable, obviously, but these cars are lightweight, and that's not really what a TDI Jetta is for in the first place. They're for daily driving, and they do that really, really well. It is kind of like a known thing in the car community that the only thing that's going to kill a Mark IV TDI is rust. That's it. The motor's going to last forever. The transmission will last forever. These cars are extremely reliable, bulletproof cars. It's just rust that'll kill it. If you can manage to find a Mark IV Jetta TDI under $1,000 that doesn't have any rust, yeah, I mean, you just hit the jackpot. Coming in at 2nd place, you get a gosh darn table in the back of it. And it's just awesome. It's just awesome in every way. The Honda CR-V 1st generation. My buddy Dom had a CR-V 1st gen one time, and his had like 300,000 miles on it, and it was just running strong. We were just beating the crap out of that thing. It was a really good time. These things come with a 2 liter inline-4, making 146 horsepower, and it is 4x4. It's another one of the vehicles that aren't actually front-wheel drive on today's list, which is obviously pretty cool. I do believe they made 1st gen CR-Vs in just front-wheel drive, and so maybe you'll get unlucky, and that's the only one you can find under 1K, but they do make them in 4x4s if you can get lucky enough. And they are, again, they're just genuinely just kind of cool cars. I mean, I like how CR-Vs look, like, genuinely. I think they're nice-looking SUVs. They have a table in the back of them. They're SUVs, so they're obviously extremely practical. They're going to be reliable as hell because they're a Honda. For under 1K, it's pretty hard to beat this. But not impossible to beat it, because coming in at 1st place, in my opinion, the best car you can buy in 2026 under $1,000 is going to be going to the Honda Civic 7th generation. Obviously, it's going to have to be a base model, and when I say base model, I mean lowest of the low base model. It's going to have to be a sedan, automatic, crappy interior, and it's going to have to be rotted out, but you can find these under 1K pretty frequently, actually. And they come with a 1.7 liter inline-4, making 115 horsepower, and they are front wheel drive, of course. What is there to say about a Honda Civic that hasn't been said already? I mean, it's just a genuinely, like I was talking about earlier with the Camry, it's pretty much just, no matter what Civic you're actually looking at buying, it's pretty much always going to be a good deal. It's kind of hard to find a bad deal for a Civic. They're good cars, obviously. The 7th gens, are very underrated in the car community. People don't like how they look, and the motors aren't the best for building power, and so because of that, they didn't get a lot of praise, and so now they're very, very cheap. And if since you're buying a car under 1K, I'm going to assume you're not trying to build power out of it, you don't really care how it looks, and so a 710 Civic, I think, is just the best option for you out there. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video, going over the top 15 best cars that you could buy under $1,000 in the big 2.6. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what reviews you'd like to see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for any of my social medias or any of my other YouTube channels or any of that great mumbo jumbo. And thank you guys so much for watching. Tomorrow's video is going to be on how to build a Hyundai Genesis Coupe. The next how to build video is going to be, yes, on the Hyundai Genesis Coupe. After that, I believe we're going to do the Lexus IS 250/350 second generations for the how to builds, because somebody's been commenting that a couple of times now, so that'll probably be coming soon. And then after, for the next like top 10 video, it'll obviously from now until we finish this series be the next video in the part of the series. So next will be obviously under 2K, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, $100,000, and that's going to be the end of the series after that. But yeah, this series we did a long time ago, way back in, I believe, like 2023, maybe 2024. And so obviously the markets have changed a lot, and that's why I decided, you know what, let's redo that series. It did good on views, you guys seem to enjoy it, and it was fun to make and everything like that, and it's a nice starting point for learning the markets again. So that's why I want to do this series again. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.